For over 2,000 years, one story has captured the imagination of explorers, historians, and treasure hunters alike. A powerful civilization, advanced beyond its time, and then suddenly, gone. The story of Atlantis has fascinated humanity for centuries. Some believe it was simply a myth, a story meant to teach a lesson about power and corruption. Others believe Atlantis was real, a lost civilization buried beneath the ocean, waiting to be rediscovered. So what is Atlantis really? A myth, or a forgotten chapter of human history? Tonight, we explore one of the greatest mysteries ever told, the legend of the lost city of Atlantis. The earliest known account of Atlantis comes from the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote about Atlantis in two of his works called Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful island nation that existed thousands of years before his time. He claimed the island was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which today we know as the Strait of Gibraltar, the narrow passage between Spain and North Africa that leads into the Atlantic Ocean. Plato described Atlantis as an incredibly wealthy and advanced civilization. The city itself was designed with incredible precision. It was built in a series of massive circular rings of land and water, connected by canals large enough for ships to pass through. At the center of the city stood a magnificent temple dedicated to Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. According to the story, Poseidon himself created Atlantis and ruled over it through his descendants. The Atlanteans were said to possess incredible engineering skills. They built enormous harbors filled with ships. They constructed massive defensive walls. They mined valuable metals and traded across the known world. Plato even described a mysterious metal called orichalcum, which was said to glow like fire and was considered nearly as valuable as gold. By all accounts, Atlantis was a thriving and powerful civilization. But according to Plato, that power eventually led to arrogance and corruption. The people of Atlantis became greedy and began trying to conquer other lands. Eventually, the gods decided to punish them, and then came the catastrophe. Plato wrote that in a single day and night of terrible earthquakes and floods, the entire island of Atlantis sank into the ocean and disappeared forever. The sea swallowed the city, leaving nothing behind but open water. And just like that, Atlantis was gone. For centuries, many historians believed this story was simply a philosophical tale created by Plato. Plato often used fictional societies to illustrate his ideas about morality and government. In this interpretation, Atlantis represented a warning about what happens when a powerful society becomes corrupt. But there's something unusual about Plato's description. He didn't describe Atlantis like a simple myth. He gave incredibly detailed descriptions of the city's layout, architecture, resources, and even its military power. Because of this, some researchers believe Plato may have based Atlantis on a real civilization. And one of the strongest candidates comes from the ancient Mediterranean. Around 4,000 years ago, a powerful civilization existed on the island of Crete. This civilization is known today as the Minoans. The Minoans were one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world. They built enormous palace complexes, developed advanced plumbing systems, and dominated trade across the Mediterranean Sea. Their cities were filled with art, engineering, and massive stone structures. For centuries, the Minoans thrived. But then, disaster struck. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption occurred on the nearby island of Thera, which is known today as Santorini. The eruption was one of the most powerful volcanic explosions in recorded human history. Scientists estimate it was several times more powerful than the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that destroyed Pompeii. The explosion blasted ash high into the atmosphere and triggered enormous tsunamis that swept across the Mediterranean. Coastal cities would have been devastated by massive waves. Entire settlements may have been wiped out overnight. Some historians believe this catastrophe severely weakened the Minoan civilization, and over time, their once powerful society faded away. This has led many researchers to wonder whether the story of Atlantis may have been inspired by this real disaster. A powerful island civilization, destroyed suddenly by natural forces. It sounds eerily similar to Plato's story, but the mystery doesn't stop there. Over the centuries, explorers and researchers have proposed dozens of possible locations for Atlantis. Some believe it lies somewhere deep in the Atlantic Ocean. Others believe it may be buried beneath the Mediterranean Sea. Some even believe Atlantis could be hidden beneath Antarctica. Throughout the 20th century, several underwater discoveries fueled speculation about lost civilizations beneath the ocean. One famous example is the underwater ruins discovered near the island of Bimini in the Bahamas. In 1968, divers discovered a strange formation of massive stone blocks resting on the seafloor. The formation became known as the Bimini Road. Some researchers claimed it was the remains of an ancient harbor wall or roadway connected to Atlantis. However, most geologists believe the stones are a natural formation created by erosion and geological processes. Still, discoveries like this continue to fuel the mystery. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, and much of it remains unexplored. There may still be ancient ruins hidden beneath the waves, and occasionally scientists discover surprising evidence that entire landscapes once existed where oceans now lie. During the last ice age, sea levels were much lower than they are today. Large areas of land that are now underwater were once dry ground. Ancient humans may have lived on these lands before rising seas swallowed them thousands of years ago. If an ancient coastal civilization existed during that time, it could now be completely submerged. Which raises an intriguing question. Could Atlantis simply be a memory of a real civilization that was lost when sea levels rose at the end of the Ice Age? Some researchers believe that ancient myths and legends may preserve fragments of real historical events. Stories passed down through generations for thousands of years. Events remembered in myth long after the physical evidence disappeared. If that's true, the legend of Atlantis may be more than just a story. It might be a distorted memory of a real catastrophe, a civilization lost to time and the sea. Even today, the search for Atlantis continues. Explorers, historians, and scientists continue to investigate ancient ruins and underwater landscapes. Modern technology like sonar mapping and deep-sea exploration vehicles are allowing researchers to explore parts of the ocean that were once completely inaccessible. Every year, new discoveries are made beneath the sea. Ancient shipwrecks, sunken cities, lost settlements. The ocean still holds countless secrets. And somewhere beneath those waves, there may still be evidence of civilizations we have yet to uncover. So was Atlantis real? Or was it simply a story created by Plato to teach a lesson? The truth is, we may never know for certain. But the mystery of Atlantis continues to capture our imagination. A powerful civilization, an advanced society, and a catastrophic disappearance that echoes through history. Perhaps somewhere beneath the ocean, hidden beneath layers of sand and time, the ruins of Atlantis are still waiting to be found. And if they are ever discovered, it would rewrite everything we know about ancient history. Until then, Atlantis remains one of the greatest mysteries the world has ever known, a legend lost beneath the sea.